It's been a hard week in Dallas. The fatal shooting of a young and impressive professional man named Botham Jean by an off-duty police officer, Amber Geiger, is a tragedy that has rocked the soul of this city. The permutations of this crime are many. We have a police officer that served a 15-hour shift before coming home, no doubt overstressed, her judgment impaired. This police officer shot an unarmed citizen in his own home. The victim was black, the officer white, even if race didn't factor into the event initially. Nonetheless, the preferential treatment of the officer by the criminal justice system reminds us that justice in this city, in this country, is still not colorblind. Whether you are white or black or brown or blue. And then the smear campaign of the dead man's character started immediately after his funeral, which is a long and nasty practice used against people of color to gain sympathy for the defendant. Lord, have mercy. I sat for 3 hours Thursday in Botham's funeral service, thinking how touched I was by the faith of this man and of his family and of his church community, and also thinking, I don't want to have to attend one more of these funerals ever again in my entire life. And then Friday morning, I sat in a room with about a dozen to 15 Dallas pastors, including colleagues like Jeff Warren at Park Cities Baptist and Todd Wagner at Watermark, and black clergy like Brian Carter of Concord Baptist and T.D. Jakes of the Potter's House. Quite a room. We were there to talk with the district attorney, Faith Johnson, to hear how she was handling things from here, given the pain and anger that has the African American community boiling over in outrage right now. After the DA left the room, things got honest. One black pastor thanked the white pastors for being there, but expressed frustration with what he called the way white churches have privatized the gospel so much so that it keeps our congregations from understanding that the call for justice is not optional for Christians. And he wondered why we don't speak out more. We leave it to them. They're on their own. Bishop Jakes talked about how hard it is convincing the black youths in his church to stay with the Christian way of following a nonviolent Jesus, when they're hearing lots of things from other people who say, that's not getting us anywhere, and a culture that's dominated by white preaching that is continually defending policies that are rooted in white supremacy and racism. He says, I believe you care because you're in this room, but we need to know more than where your heart is. We need to hear you say clearly in your pulpits and in the streets that white supremacy and racism is wrong, and no more generalizations. I know it will cost you something to do so, but isn't that what Jesus calls us all to do? To deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow Him? It is. And psst, it's not just preachers. What is God calling you to risk of your own life, in your own relationships, for the sake of the gospel of Jesus Christ? How will you deny yourself in order to take up that cross and follow Him? If we want to call ourselves by the name of Jesus, we have to stop defending things Jesus would condemn. And we have to start loving people like he did. It may cost us friends. It may even cost us our life. But after 3 days, give or take, there's always a rising with Christ.